Hi, everybody. I'm here with Terry Smith and his gorgeous daughter, Maya Smith. How are you?
Good.
How old are you?
8.
Are you married?
No.
You have a boyfriend?
No.
Where do you go to school?
Episcopal.
One of the knights?
Yeah.
You're a knight?
Yeah.
And Daddy Terry, how in the world? Thank you for staying a
thank you so
few minutes
much.
extra.
I appreciate it.
These two have written a book, and it's called See You Later, and it's to help parents work with their children when there is a separation/divorce going on in the family. And you told me something in the break room that it was very important to let the child or children have a seat at the table. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so many times when parents get divorced, you know, it's a very kind of like insular thing, and it's and it could be selfish in this process, and the child becomes more of the byproduct of this situation, where it's just kind of like, well, you're going to go with this parent, and they don't really get to express their feelings or emotions. And you know, for this book, it's like I wanted to make the child's voice be at the forefront of this, or have equal footing with both parents. So the child is able to express how they're feeling, and then also use this book as a tool to navigate this difficult conversation or to initiate this difficult conversation.
So you and your wife have been divorced 4 years.
Yes.
And she was 4 years old when
she was 4 years
separation
old.
happened. And you were telling me it was as these go, it was a kind, it was a gentle. You didn't throw lamps at each other.
No, no, no. We're both loving people, and it's like and it's a very creative environment. So it's just like, you know, we were, you know, it wasn't anything from anger. It was just two people that kind of just grew out of love. And in growing out of love, it's just like when you recognize it, it's like, you know, life is fleeting and it's too short to stay into a bad situation. You know, it's like, so we kind of decided that we're going to move on. And I knew I had to take care of my daughter because I was the person that was like more stable. And it's just like, so, and it worked out. It's like, but I just had to deal with my daughter's issue, just making sure that, you know, I wasn't letting the, you know, some trauma seep in that was just going to be kind of like, you get to the point where I wasn't going to be able to control it or help her to have the tools to be able to deal with it.
What was Maya's biggest challenge after the separation?
I think it was just kind of like, I'm not going to see my mom again. I'm not going to see my sister again. Being away from them, it's like, you know, because we were in a different state. They were in California. We were in Louisiana. So she just was like, you know, when am I going to see them again? It's like, you know, being like seeing somebody every night and then not seeing them for a while. It's just like, you know, that was her issue. And when I was letting her know, okay, we're going to see them every summer. We're going to see them during the holidays. Like having this conversation with her to help her to kind of like be able to deal with it. And then as a couple of years passed by and as we kind of like worked it out, everything is fine now. But in the beginning, when it's first happening, that's the most important time for them, because if we ignore their feelings and we ignore what they're going through, then it's just going to just vent up in them and just like build up in them until it just explodes. And we don't want that to happen. It doesn't need to happen.
She seems so together and so, I mean, you're just awesome. I can't even have a conversation with her because her English language skills are so much higher than mine already. You were telling me about something about your brother in the book, and you used a phrase. What was that?
Poetic license.
Poetic license? What is poetic license?
It's like when you pretend something or it's something that's not true, but it's not lying. It's kind of like lying, but it's not.
Like in the book, what would that be? What?
So in poetic license, there are 2 types of poetic license in the book. But the one I want to say is the one about my brother. It said, "See you later, brother," but I've actually never seen my brother before, so I can't say that.
Really? Why has she never seen her brother?
The brother's going through what young men go through when they're trying to figure out themselves.
And he's much older, too.
Yeah, he's older. He's in his 30s.
Okay.
It's like...
That's her half-brother, I would say.
Yeah, her half-brother.
Yeah.
From my first ex-wife.
Wow.
Yes.
What have you been hearing about the book from other people? I know it just came out, but what have you been hearing about that?
It's just the reviews are great. It's just like a necessary book. Every parent should have this book that's going through this if they have a child between 3 and 6 years old. It's just like it's a tool that can definitely help families. So it's just like been like, you know, rave reviews from every person. Not one negative review on the book.
Well, I can imagine why not. So I'm from a divorced family, and our mom and dad, we had no idea that there was a problem. My mom and dad were famous for family, family conferences. After supper, if we weren't doing our chores or the grass needed cutting or whatever, we would sit on the floor and they would sit on the couch facing us, and it would be a family conference. And they had a family conference meeting set up one day at dinner, and they said, after dinner, do the kitchen, we're going to have a family conference. We're looking at each other going, hey, did you not? Did we not? What? And they were holding hands, and they said, Daddy's going to go down the street and live in a camper. He's going to come home every night for dinner and to check the mail and live in the camper. Temporarily, that became permanent, and that was kind of weird. Do you feel like she's missing something from not having the female element there?
No, well, in our situation, it's like I moved back to Louisiana and we stayed with my mom. And so my mom is the female element now. And then we just lost my sister a year ago. And so I think us being there has helped my mom deal with the grief, having Maya there. And it's just like, so she doesn't have time to grieve really. It's just like she's just nonstop with Maya's hair, or working with her on homework or whatever the case. And my mom's an ex-school teacher, and it's just like, so it's a really productive relationship. And I think my mom is in a great place being a grandmother now, and then looking back on it, and maybe kind of fine-tuning it a little bit, you know what I mean, from a grandmother's perspective with her granddaughter, and just building that bond. And I'm super supportive of that bond, and I'm super blessed to be in this home with my mom and my daughter in this very positive and enriching environment.
Back when I was growing up, it was 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year with the other parent, and now her mom lives in California.
Yeah.
So how do you guys do that?
So we go back to California maybe 6-7 times a year. It's like, so for the holidays, or if there's a book fair or whatever the case, whatever reason we have to go back. But we spend 2 months out the summer there. So as soon as school is out here, we rent a house in California in the mountains, and we stay there. And then she gets to see her mom as much as she can while we're there, and her sister. And then we come back here for the school year. So we get out of here for the heat and humidity and the beautiful weather in California.
There's some truth behind the truth right there.
And the truth is that she needs to have a relationship with her mom.
And how do you feel about all of this? You feeling okay? I mean,
yeah, ever since my dad taught me about see you later, I was like, okay, so I am going to see her again, so I'm not going to cry this time. So yeah, that's what happened to me after my dad taught me about see you later.
And you were telling us, Terry, that you see you later to everything.
Yeah, that's how it started. So it's just like, the crazy part is like, my dad said it to me when I was like 11. And you know how you, like, certain things stay with you. And it's just like, he said, it's not see you, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. And it stayed with me. So when my daughter was going through the situation, and I looked at her and I was like, okay, this has something to do with her thinking she's not going to see her mom. So I tapped into that and told her, Maya, it's not, goodbye, it's just see you later. And then I was like, okay, how do I drive this home? And then so we go to the park and we wave at the park, see you later, Parky. We go to the swimming pool, see you later, swimming pool. And then she started to say it on her own. And when she started to say it on her own, I knew she had it. And then when we revisited it, when we went back, that's what really did it. Okay, it's like, I'm coming back. It's like everything's going to be fine. And then when she realized that it's not something, final, when it's like, we're going to revisit things, that's when it all was fine for her.
And you're not alone. I mean, in the situation, you have friends, I'm thinking, that have their parents have separated, right? Because back when I was in school, 100 years ago, it was not the norm. It was you were the exception, and at times you were made, oh, that's the kid that doesn't have but one parent, But now, it's everywhere.
Yeah, they say 1 out of every 2 children are affected by separation or divorce. That means half the children in the United States of America have some relation with this topic. I mean, that's a lot. And it's just like, we're in the middle of the divorce list. I think like number 1 is like Portugal, and like the least, I forget who's like, maybe somewhere like Sweden. Like I know these numbers, and we're in the middle, like United States. But 1 out of every 2 kids is a high number. And that means, I just want those children and just to be, so people can really listen to them. The child needs a voice. They need a voice in this because we don't want
at the table, like
yeah, we don't want to create this trauma, you know, because later on, then they're going to be in therapy, you know, then they're going to take this into their adult lives, and they're not going to be at peace because they never worked it out. You know, you got to nip it in the bud, and I think for me, we nipped it in the bud because that's all she needed was to know it's going to be okay. I'm going to see them again. We're going to get through this, and the dynamic's going to change, but it's going to change for the better, you know.
I have heard it said that better to be from a broken home than to live in a broken home. How does that resonate with you, and why are people divorcing at such a high rate, do you think?
I think, number one, is just like I think people get together, you know, without knowing each other. I think also they're meeting, they're too young. I don't think they've evolved enough as a human being or evolved enough in their experiences. I think it's like, you know, we kind of grew up, like get married, get the house, get the job. And I think, you know, sometimes it's just like people need to kind of figure out who they are before they get with someone else. You have to love yourself before you can love someone else. And I think a lot of the times people haven't you know, they haven't evolved enough. And it's just like, so they should be, I think people should get married in their 30s, you know, not in their 20s. I think go to school, you know, travel, see the world. And then when you got a good feel for who you are, find a partner. And then sometimes you don't have to find a partner. Maybe you're not somebody that's like gets along with people, you know, and it's like you can still be happy. You can adopt, you know what I mean? So it's like whatever the situation, but I think we just get married too young. And I think that what happens is it's just like, and then when we do get into a situation, I think people don't give enough to the relationship where they say, you know what, let's work on this. Let's try to fix this. People are just so easy to walk away, to run away, to get a divorce. And it's just like, instead of working on it, because this wise guy told me one time, he was like, every relationship is the same relationship. He was like, you know, so the person that you were with, and if you haven't dealt with those issues, you bring those issues into the next relationship. So every relationship is just the same relationship until you deal with who you are and what made you this person, because you're just going to keep bringing this into the next relationship and the next relationship and the next relationship, and it's an endless cycle. And when he said it like that, I realized I've been repeating the same relationship since I was a teenager. So I started dealing with me and dealing with, you know, not saying, oh, it's your fault and this is what it is, but what did I do to bring it to this situation, to get to this point? And when you start seeing it like that, I think you start to grow as a person, and you start to have more humanity.
Anything else you want to add?
No, but I think you're going to like the book if you buy it. And it's got a picture of me on the back of it when I was 4.
Let's see that. Turn that book around. Let's see this. Maya's on the back. Well, it's right there. There you go. I think he had it in this particular camera shot here. Let's see if we can get it again. Oh, look at that. Is that you?
Yes.
Look, you're a star. You're on a book. So where can we get this book?
You can get it at some stores and off of Amazon.
It's everywhere. Everywhere books are sold. So it's released worldwide. So Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart. You can go into Barnes & Noble. You can Google the book title, Terry Smith, See You Later. And like I said, today's the day the book came out, is today.
See You Later is the book. It's great for parents. It's great for grandparents raising their grandkids, great-grandparents possibly raising their grandkids. Terry Smith, Maya Smith, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having us. This has been so much fun. It's like
great, great book.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.